What a beautiful day to start a furniture makeover. This one is a continuation, a sequence of dressers and nightstands that I'm doing for a customer that wants them to all match. And if you've seen my previous videos, you might have seen me refinish these nightstands, and this tall boy dresser is going to match, and they're all going to match a low boy dresser that I've already done as well. So first step always is to clean the piece, inspect it. This is really when you see the damage that needs to be repaired, if there is any. Really getting to know the furniture whenever you are cleaning it and inspecting it, getting ready to make a plan, to execute the plan, and make this dresser absolutely fabulous. So first thing I noticed was this Maker's Mark. This is a name brand piece of furniture, really solid quality, solid wood. It does have some damage, but you can see these joins on the sides are really a good indicator that this is a solid quality piece, and you can tell there were drawer handles changed at some point because these, of course, two knobs next to each other is kind of not original to the piece. And if you're wondering about this step, about washing the surfaces, it's really a great way to prep for sanding, because even though I do plan to sand this, I'm not one of those people who can just clean and then paint. Can't do it. It's not my thing. But I do clean it because that is preparation for sanding. It really saves your sandpaper, makes sanding easier whenever you're not sanding off grime and dirt. So cleaning it is essential. It's an essential first step, and I will do that again about 3 more times before I'm done, to also later remove sanding dust. And when I do remove these drawers, I am going to number them so that they can go in the exact same order that they started in, because oftentimes drawers can be kind of finicky. They don't all fit exactly the same way, and you don't want your drawers to be all wonky, and then you have to perform the puzzle to figure out, which drawer goes where? And that's not a fun puzzle at all, because I've done it. I've learned my lesson. So I just write on the back, and I will mention that to the customer if I remember, because that way they know if they take the drawers out which order that they go in. And a note on these drawer pulls, because I am doing 4 pieces all together for the same bedroom set, they are going to choose their own drawer pulls and put those in separately. So you'll notice when I'm finished with this project, I have filled in those holes and I have not drilled new ones or put in drawer pulls as per the request of the customer. And now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the part of the show where you watch me make a really bad decision to move this dresser to the backyard onto the patio. And it is very heavy. So here I'm questioning all my life choices at this point, and if it's worth it, or if I should just abandon this project to my middle yard, which is an uneven, mulchy mess, and I cannot wheel this out here with furniture dolly for that reason. So I decided, you know what? It's not worth it. Going to break my back to carry this back into the garage where I will finish this project, because I'm too weak to carry it up to my patio. I know it doesn't look like that far, but that hill right off the concrete it's steep. It's very steep. I've gone down it on accident with furniture before, but I am going to bring the drawers up here to do on the patio in the shade. And because there are many of them, that will be a much easier way to work on them. So the base went back, and I'm just going to work on these beautiful drawers, which aren't they lovely inside? Isn't that wood just really beautiful? Oftentimes I'll put a drawer liner in, but this one is in such good condition. I didn't even have any stains or gross spots to cover up. They were really clean and really, really nice condition. So all I gotta do is sand them down at this point, and lots of sanding. But because I know that I'm about to paint them, they're just gonna get a good scuff sand. I don't have to sand back to the bare wood, which is nice, because y'all know I hate that. I just like to do the bare minimum sometimes. And I, of course, am going to use my micro sander that I love, and a combination of that with my power sander. And that does a really great job. I get into those corners with that micro sander, and the rest is great with this orbital sander. Okay, so for this repair, right here you see it's pretty banged up. Looks like maybe an animal caught it or something. And I have sanded it down just a little bit so it's not so rough. And I'm going to use some hot glue. I'm actually going to make a mold from a good part, like maybe from up here. Maybe from over here, actually. So this right here is in pretty good condition. So I'm going to first put some coconut oil on to make sure that the glue doesn't stick. So just like a teensy bit. You just don't want the glue to stick to the wood. So really that's all. Just make it shiny. And then use some hot glue. Extra glue stick. Okay. Alright, and here goes. Gosh, this might get messy. Okay. Oh gosh. Jeez. Just like make sure it's in all of the little places that it needs to be. Okay. Alright. So I'm a little worried because I didn't put the coconut oil on here. I probably should have done that, but it's not that hot. It's alright. I think it'll come off. So why is it pink? It's weird. I swear it's pink, right? Okay. So I'm going to use this after it dries. I'm going to put the Bondo on here and then put that mold down on here and hope that that holds how I want. I also want to do this for the corner because some of these corners are just rounded off and I want to make sure that those are in good condition. And I should be able to use this same mold for all of the repairs that I want to do. So I should be able to use the same corner for all of them. Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing again. So when these dry, I should be able to just peel them off. And then have the molds. This one's already starting to dry here, you see. And hopefully they come off easily. And then I didn't just rub this furniture. So I have several spots where I need to do the repair. Lots of nicks on this dresser. There's another one there. Yeah, look on the corners. And I think the rest are pretty good. Got another corner there. So while I'm waiting on these to dry, I'm going to use some Bondo wood filler to fill in these holes. Since the customer wants to put their own door pulls on, I'm going to go ahead and fill these holes in. And there was actually a big flower kind of shaped part of the door pull that really dug in to the wood, and so I want to make sure that I get that wood filler completely over those gouges. And there's also a few other scratches in the wood that I'd like to fill in as well, because this one is going to be painted black. When it comes to filling really serious holes and damage in furniture, I would recommend using Bondo over just a regular wood filler. And the reason why, several reasons why. First of all, it sets really fast. You can paint just like within 30 minutes after you're using it. And the other reason is because it's super durable. So with furniture, you're going to be getting heavy daily use most likely, and this stuff will really stand up against heavy use. And today I'm going to be filling these drawer pull holes, and I'm going to show you how to use this stuff. So you take the lid off and you've got this cream hardener, which is blue, and that's helpful because when you mix this with this, you can tell that they're thoroughly mixed by the color, and you'll see what I mean in a second. I like to use these to stir, and I got this paint scraper at the Dollar Tree, and those are great for application. I also like to use a paper plate or a scrap piece of cardboard to do the mixing. So here we go. It's so stinky. My ratio is not measured. I'm not very good at measuring, but I am good at guessing and guesstimating. So here's what I'm gonna do. That looks about good. Okay. My recommendation is start with a little bit, because once you get these two mixed together, this hardener makes it harden really, really fast. So use a small amount first. Do it in batches because it'll harden really fast. You can always make up another batch. So I'm gonna get going really quick here. And now you can come back and sand these smooth, and it will be as if you never had a hole there in the first place, and it'll be super sturdy and durable. So just what you need. So I have already filled these holes so that I can come back and sand them later, but I do want to take off my hot glue molds and try them out on this damaged part over here so that I can see if it'll work. And I'm going to try using the Bondo wood filler to do that on this one over here. So I'm going to kind of pry off these hopefully without scraping off wood. I just want to loosen them a little. Okay. Oh yeah. Ooh boy. Okay. Dude, okay. All right, so except for the dirt or grime or whatever that I just pried off of there. Okay. Oh, that's exciting. Okay. All right. So I do see some like little holes here, but because if you think about it, it's going to make those pop out and not pop in. So I think I can just sand them back off whenever those air bubbles get filled with Bondo. But I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that actually. So I'm gonna try this one, see how this one turned out. All right, let me see if it'll come off in one piece like that other one did. All right, yes. Okay. Okay, maybe yes. Ah. Okay, yes I am. All right, so, oh wow, that looks pretty good too. The traffic is really crazy today. Okay, so this one looks pretty good too. I think I'm hoping it'll pick it up well. So. You know, it's all mixed up really well whenever it turns this nice shade of green and there's no streaks of blue left. And honestly, come over here and do it this way. It goes this way, all right. And so you're gonna wanna fill the space that you wanna fill. Okay, there's that. And okay, so we'll go like this. Okay, and then like that. Oh yeah. Okay, cool. And I'm gonna take some tape. Put it down. On this side. And then on the other side too. Oh man. I really hope this works. Okay. I know it's not going to take a lot, so I'm just going to put a tiny little bit on there. Shoot, it's already drying. Right, so fast. And put that on there. The tape on. Okay. Trying to pull some holes over here. Oh shoot, it dries so fast. Yeah, that's so fast. Like, okay. Making way too big of batches here. So this really is the moment of truth here. We're going to take off the tape and see if these hot glue molds really did what they're supposed to do. And you know what? It's not completely dry, but it doesn't look too bad. So I'm going to let this fully harden and then I will be able to sand it and hopefully have a flawless corner that I can then paint. So we're going to check the side up here where it was pretty dug into. And this one you can see a lot oozed out the sides. I wanted to have extra so that I could sand it down. So that really worked out just fine. And I should have pushed it into the mold a little bit more, but I think this is going to work fine. I might have to add a little bit to it, but at least I have the shape. You can really see the shape that we were going for. And now back to the garage, and I'm getting ready to do some more sanding, and I'm going to do some work on the base and get started with the painting. Always wear a mask before you sand because you don't want to be breathing in that nasty stuff, whether it's just plain wood dust or also a lot of times you are sanding off a finish material that you don't want in your lungs, okay? So just put on a mask, just wear it. Ugh, I think I just had a flashback to 2020 when I said that. Ugh. Ugh. Thankfully, I have a lot of N95s around because, you know, everybody was like throwing them at everyone. Wear a mask. Okay. They're helpful when you're sanding. But when you're not sanding, breathe in fresh air. That's my public service announcement for the day. Breathe in the fresh air, y'all. After scuff sanding most of the surfaces here, I'm taking special attention to get those repaired edges and corners to be perfectly flush. The goal is to have just an even surface that we can paint, and hopefully when I'm done you won't even be able to tell that there was ever a repair done. Now obviously this one's going to be a little bit more tricky because you have this kind of a like a beveled edge, and I really had a lot of excess to sand off. But I'm telling you guys, this micro sander from Gator is the way to go. It is amazing. I know it's tiny and it's like, why do I need another tool when I can use just sandpaper and my fingers? But let me just tell you, if you have a small area to really get into and sand really smooth and make it really shaped like this project here, you're gonna really want this little tool, because otherwise you're gonna have like the most painful joints on your fingers. This just makes it easy work, makes it less painful, really much more pleasant, and it's so versatile. It's probably second to my sander. It's probably the next most helpful tool that I use. And the sander, speaking of, is amazing and helpful, but problem with an orbital sander is it is round, and so when you can't get into those corners, you have to come back with, well, the micro sander works for that too. I did have a few little spots to fill, and I did use my scraper to get into these teeny tiny little grooves. Those things are going to be linked in the description because I'm doing that now. If you guys are interested in any of the tools that I use or the supplies that I use, if I can find a link to them. I think most of the things are on Amazon, which is really helpful. And did you know they deliver like in a few days now? It's crazy. Hopefully, if you live in the right areas. But all right, time to put this bad boy to bed and work on these drawers. So I did have to order some new drawer slides. This one, the receiving end was able to just be glued, the part that's on the drawer itself, but the other part is totally missing from inside of the chest, and I had to buy a new one to install, but it was super easy. Again, that will be in the description, the link to those, because as you can see, it's totally missing out of the middle here. I did need to cut it down a little bit, as it was a little bit too long. But that's not too bad of a process, and I have a short video on that for you to watch, so definitely check that out. Now, I determined the top needed to be chemical stripped because I was going to do a paint wash on the top, and so I did the citrus strip chemical stripping, which it's wonderful because it actually is less toxic than some of the other strippers on the market out there. And it has a strong smell, but it's actually quite pleasant because it's like citrus, you know? And it's a pretty simple process. You just apply it to the surface, put some plastic wrap or plastic of some kind over the top to keep it from drying out, and then after some time you come back and scrape off the finish. And this saves you so much time sanding, especially for surface tops. Oftentimes on the sides of dressers and things, you're not going to have as many layers or as thick of a lacquer, but on the top surfaces of dressers, tabletops, things like that, there is usually a harder surface to get through. So I really recommend stripping top surfaces, and especially if you're trying to get back to the bare wood, because this sanding was so much easier after I got all that stripper scraped off, and then I used mineral spirits to wipe it back. I was able to sand it and get ready for this beautiful paint wash. And it's going to match, of course, the nightstands and the other dresser that I have finished already. So I use this beautiful beige wash. It is a nutmeg shade of Rust-Oleum's Painter's Touch paint. Painter's Touch paint. Oh, that's hard to say. So it's super easy. Add some water, paint it on, wipe it back, and that's a paint wash. It's basically the same idea as a stain. You can still see the wood grain underneath. It's just a different product that you're putting onto the surface. So I am still leaving that beautiful wood grain. You do still want to usually always sand back to bare wood, I think, although I've seen a few people just scuff sand and it works. I'm not brave enough to try that yet. So I did sand it back all the way and use this method. You can tell I'm just kind of, I don't know, you just kind of paint it on, let it sit for a little bit, and then use a dry rag to kind of wipe it back. And it's a paint wash, also used to be known as a whitewash, but paint washing with beige is very popular right now. And it really brings a, I don't know, just like a natural, really muted wood tone. And it doesn't matter what shade of wood you're starting with, the beige really mutes the oranges in the wood or red in the wood, whatever it is that you have. And if you're trying to keep with the trend of being that nice beige natural finish, this is the way to go. And on the rest of this piece, I am using, again, Rust-Oleum. I love Rust-Oleum's Painter's Touch in Canyon Black. It is wonderful. It has a nice sheen to it, and it is easy to apply. I use a brush still. I know I should get a sprayer, but I'm still brushing on paint. And it only took, I think, 2 to 3 coats, where typically with other paints I'm using many more coats, but I don't even use a primer on this. So I consider the first coat to be the prime coat, and then after that it was only 1 or 2 coats of paint, really. So I really enjoy this product. I love Rust-Oleum. It's simple. I know that there's fancier, more expensive paints out there that have nice colors and things, but I just like Rust-Oleum, and I like that it's available in most hardware stores or lots of big box stores. You can just find it easily. You don't have to go hunt for it. So I'm a big fan. Rust-Oleum. This is not sponsored by Rust-Oleum, but if you wanted to, that'd be cool. And as much as I hate doing it, I did sand between coats because I want a buttery smooth finish, especially on the front here. So I used a very fine sandpaper, sanded between coats, and then came back and did another final coat with a top coat afterwards. So just to remind you what we started with and what this beautiful dresser looked like before, which was obviously nice, but after lots of love and care and a beautiful coat of paint, here's what she looks like now. And here are the nightstands that are matching. Again, notice no drawer pulls, but those are going to be added later. And these will all match the dresser that my customer already has. So let me know what you think. Do you like this style? It's kind of modern. I don't know. Not everybody's thing, but I think the contrast really works, and it's kind of a unique look. There's not a lot out there right now just like this. So that's the cool thing about refinishing furniture, is you can make something really unique and have something that no one else has in your home, which I think is really cool. And I had to get a few pictures, at least a few, with what it would look like with drawer pulls. So here's that shot here. And this is to let you know what the low dresser looks like, that it will also be matching. I'm sure that they look great together, and I hope that they love the finished product. If you want to like and subscribe to this video, this channel, it would really help me out, and I am so glad that you're here.